Hi, Sarah Mack here from withsarahmack.com, and I want to make this conversation fun for you while also giving you some little nuggets to improve your reach on social media and most importantly, to make you more money. So I'm going to share a bunch of different things that just by paying a little bit more light attention to can give you a lot of feedback on really what's working for you and can give you those nudges of directions to, pay a little bit more attention and put a little bit more energy towards that are really resonating with your audience and that are attracting people into your world. So what are the metrics to check on social media? Obviously, there's like 50 million thousand different types of analytics that we have access to now, and I'm not gonna go deep into those because that's not really my style. And actually, in the beginning, I didn't track any metrics other than the money I was making. So that is my first most important takeaway from this video, is track the money that you are making. Because if you're not making sales, if people aren't interested in what you're selling and they're not actually buying, then that's something that you want to be paying the most attention to above everything. And if you don't already know, I have my money making content with astrology, like mini offer, mini readings at the moment. Please reach out to me if you want to book one of those. And if you know that you want some more support around this, some one-on-one tailoring on your messaging so that it is making more money, I have a one-on-one 3-month Voxer package that's on summer special at the moment. So definitely reach out if you want some support with that. And this conversation is going to be particularly helpful for you if you are a creative, if you're a manifesting generator or a generator like me, or you just aren't like super into the data and the analytics and, the kind of like back-end administrative aspects of business. Because let's be real, our most valuable currency is our creativity. So these are the two metrics that I want you to check first. Number one is how much fun are you having when you're creating your content? This is by far the most important thing for you to be measuring, because, and I'm not saying that there won't be growth and I'm not saying that there won't be frustration when you're like trying to make a graphic on Canva or whatever, but to really invite the reflection of like, how can I make this process more fun for me? Number one, am I creating in a way that is like a way that I want to be creating in, that's leaning into my natural gifts and skill sets, existing skill sets? Or am I building out skill sets that I have a genuine desire to improve my ability and my self-expression around? Because that's another really amazing thing that we can use social media for, right? It's like, for example, me, I want to be improving at video. So that's something that I'm leaning into. And yes, there is a lot of frustration. And sometimes it does take me a little more time than it does to just, take a picture and bang out a written post. But the most important thing is that you have fun. And sometimes that's just a mindset shift of like, you know what, I've chosen to do this. I get to attract incredible people into my world. I get to make literally an unlimited amount of money from sitting in like without putting clothes on, without dressing up and leaving the house. And that is the gift that social media gives us. So let's always bring the mindset back to how freaking cool is this? And like, it gets to be fun and I'm the one in control of how much fun I'm having. So make sure you're having fun doing it. And if that means outsourcing some things to people who are better at certain parts of the process than you are, like editing or graphics, make that a priority. Get a VA on board. It doesn't have to cost you that much money, and the joy and the time and the space that it will bring you back will make you more money. So that's the first one. The next one to just keep tabs on is how much time is it taking? Because let's be real, like we can have all this motivation, like we can start working with a coach, we can take a course and be like, yeah, I really want to get good at this, or, I'm going to go in this new direction. And then suddenly, you put a load of time into it, but it's not sustainable. Like life happens, you get some health stuff, you like just have a week where you're like on your period, or, some drama happens with your family and it's not sustainable. And you can absolutely have different ebbs and flows of like, I have more creative bandwidth, so I want to spend a bit more time creating and that's fun for me. But know what your minimums are. Know the most simple things that you can do. Obviously, repurposing is a great way for you to fall back and stay consistent even when life throws you a curveball. But let's, try and challenge ourselves a little bit to get things done in smaller amounts of time. That way it truly is sustainable. And my challenge to myself is getting my social media content done in 10 minutes a day. And, I never usually spend more than 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes tops these days. But my challenge is to get it down to 10 minutes. Sometimes I can, and it's great if for the most part it doesn't take that long. And if occasionally you want to go deeper into a piece of content, then you can do that when you have the bandwidth to do that. So keep tabs on how much time it's taking. Don't be the person who posts and then deletes. Or, if you've created something and you fall into a glitch on Instagram where it's not working, give yourself permission to post imperfectly. If it didn't post with the sound, you can be the person that tries it 6 times until it's working, and you can be the person who's like, you know what, it's fine as it is. It wasn't perfect, but whatever, I'm still gonna put it out there, because done is better than perfect. So the next one I wanna bring your attention to is likes and comments are truly not, well, I wouldn't say comments, but likes and engagement. Likes, hearts, these things, they're really not important, because there will be plenty of people who are consuming your content, who are loving your content and getting ready to buy from you, who haven't given you a single like. So in that sense, they really don't matter. Obviously, if you post popular stuff, it can help to boost your engagement, boost your reach, which obviously has its benefits, but just keep tabs on yourself. Don't fall into creating for the likes, because a lot of the time it's friends and family who aren't buying from you, who like your stuff if you posted a nice picture. Keep tunnel vision on the people who you're here to serve in your offer, the people who are going to buy from you and make your business actually succeed at the level that you desire it to. Keep your tunnel vision on that. Don't get distracted by likes. One thing to pay attention to is saves. This is actually a really valuable metric, because it's showing you that your audience have perceived value in what it is that you've been. Open to speculation, right? You can know, sometimes you don't know until someone's actually bought from you that, obviously your content has been doing a good job around that particular offer. But when you're putting stuff out there and it's getting saved, that's direct feedback that your people are finding this valuable. And that also really improves your reach as well. So that's a great one to pay attention to. Views is good to pay attention to. What that's going to tell you is that you have a good topic. It's also going to tell you that often you have a good title, which is sometimes, the main reason why people click and pay attention to you. And if people are watching it all the way through, then that shows you that it's valuable content. However, this is not always right. Sometimes it's the time of day and your reach can be impacted simply by the algorithm. So don't pay attention to the low numbers. Don't take that as feedback as this wasn't valuable. Sometimes if you want to, you can repost something at a different time of day. And, if you created a really good piece of content and you are frustrated because not that many people saw it, repost it. Experiment with different times. Everybody's audience is different. But when things do work, when you see people watching all the way through till the end, they're, engaging and commenting, and it's getting good reach because people are resonating with it, pay attention to that. So you'll start to notice patterns when you're paying attention in this way to these small things, right? It doesn't have to be this in-depth analysis. Obviously, the most important thing to pay attention to is clicks, profile visits, signups, and of course, when people buy. And sometimes we know when people directly came through something because of the time, or because they interacted with it, or they left a comment, or they mentioned it in the conversation you had with them when they signed up to buy from you. Sometimes we don't know. But that's obviously the most important thing to pay attention to. And remember, it's never because of one piece of content. It's the cumulative build-up of you sharing your message in different ways, being consistent with it, building trust, sharing stories, building connection while that person is getting ready, and lining up to the time when it's right for them to start to work with you. So sometimes one piece of content can push them over the edge, particularly when you have good calls to action, particularly when you have a particular launch or a particular offer that you're really excited about, that you communicate consistently. Pay attention to the times when people have bought, because that's going to give you so much valuable data on how to make more sales. Hi loves, I wanted to let you know that I made a special free gift just for you. It's called the Cash Injection Ritual, and it's my 3-step method that you can use to create extra cash sales starting today. I used to suck at making consistent money, and I believed I would never be good at sales because I refused to do anything that feels out of integrity. Then I discovered the powerful mindset shifts I'm about to share with you, and I implemented this cash injection ritual to double my income 3 years in a row, making it to 6 figures in my dream coaching business. Now I'm so effing excited to share this work with you so you can start receiving the money you so deserve. So click the link in the description or go to withsarahmac.com and you can download the cash injection ritual from the freebies menu at the top of my page. Please remember to share your celebrations with me when the extra sales and cash starts to roll in. Before we get back to the episode, I have something exciting to tell you about. There were a couple of key things that changed everything in my life as an entrepreneur that allowed me to bring in 6 figures while working half as many hours and having more fun than ever before in my business. It was money mindset work around how I was doing business, combined with getting good at sharing strategic sales content online. I know you know that this is your year to start hitting your 10K month income goal and living the life of creative freedom and fulfillment you have been dreaming about. You're ready to be consistently attracting total dream soulmate clients through the creative content you're sharing on social media, and you want to be reaching more people, charging higher rates, and working much less. So I'm very excited to invite you to join me in Freedom Club, my mastermind, where you'll receive tailored high-level support to master the skills that will create your dream life and 6-figure dream business starting now. With focused weekly trainings and coaching calls to find the clarity on your content that's going to make you the most money, to design a simple, fun launch strategy you'll enjoy following through on, plus daily support and feedback from me in the Voxer chat, you'll find that sweet spot in your business where you're the most confident in your work, having the most fun, and making the most money. Go to withsarahmac.com/freedom club to apply now. Now let's get back to the episode. The last one I want to share with you is engagement in the form of comments or DMs. And this isn't just like people dropping emojis or, the people on the internet who are just there to kind of connect with you and are dropping a random comment. Like, the difference when you've created a piece of content that has really engaged people, that's causing them to share their own story or their own perspective, or that's causing them to reach out to you and start a conversation or ask questions, or you can tell when people are really resonating. And there's also a difference between people who are resonating and commenting and being inspired and not buying, and the people who are buying. And sometimes, like I said before, this is so often the case, the people who are about to buy from you, you don't have any idea that they exist. They haven't liked a single thing. They haven't commented on a single thing. Maybe it's down to their Gemini placements and whether they have them or not. Some people are just more communicative in the online space than others. And sometimes those people who are really engaging, actually aren't going to buy from you ever. But it just helps to know when things are landing with people. But most importantly, you want to find that sweet spot where your stuff is landing with the people who want to buy from you. So here are a few things to pay attention to. And, something I've seen over and over again is when you're paying attention to this and you're consistent and you kind of explore different topics from different angles, you're going to start to see the patterns of the topics that people love to hear about specifically from you and specifically from your perspective. And these are your sweet spot money-making topics that are going to drive your engagement. They're going to attract more buyers and they're going to really grow your audience. So pay attention to what those are. And if you don't know what that is yet, keep experimenting, right? Like really lean into what you're passionate around, what you have a unique perspective around, what you can't not talk about. Because I've seen people, like they get these particular topics and then their engagement kind of like blows up. And sometimes it's surprising. Sometimes you're like, oh, like obviously that fits for me to talk about that, but I never really saw that as like my thing that is really resonating with people. So the only way to get there is to keep putting out content, keep getting that data and that feedback, and start to pay attention, most importantly, to when people sign up and buy from you, like what they say when they join your programs. What is it about you? What is it that they start to share with you and they start to ask you questions around? That's making it really obvious which pieces of your content they've resonated with. And this is also why I love bringing in astrology into messaging, because there's particular placements that I love to look at, particularly when it comes to coaches and healers, because we're here to support people through challenges, right? So a lot of the time looking at the unique challenges that are in our own chart, those are the money-making nuggets in your own story. Like for me, I have a lot of my placements in Scorpio and also in Gemini. And so when I started to share around obviously my challenges with sharing my voice, sharing my unique perspective, fear of rejection, fear of growing my visibility, and then, you know, healing the actual like deep wounds where that came from, connected to childhood trauma, healing CPTSD. When I started to, you know, get those pieces and sharing my own story about those things, they really landed with people. And those things were the things that people reflected back to me when they had joined my programs as to why they specifically wanted to work with me, because I understood them and I got their unique perspective. And so that was why they chose me over the 50 million other coaches teaching the same thing on the internet, right? So these are your golden topics to really get curious about. And astrology is a great place to dive in to get some clarity around those things that are already there. It's just about knowing, oh, like I know these are the pieces that are really valuable for me to lead with. And again, if you want support with that, jump into one of my containers. I've got my 3-month summer special Voxer 101 package. I've got my money making astrology through content, which is like a mini little taster where you're going to get some tailored feedback and some tailored content prompts specifically based on your astrology chart. I'm so stoked for these offers. So make sure to reach out to me if this is calling you. So the attitude here around tracking stats and tracking things with your social media, with your content, is just to bring a light attention to it. You know, I've been there where I've had the whole spreadsheet and I've been tracking in-depth stats, and that's fine. You can do that. You'll like the more, just like creating little moments of attention, you're going to notice patterns, right? What performed the best? And honestly, some of the most valuable feedback you're going to get from just reviewing your performance is like, did I fully show up? You know, like, did I really articulate this message? Did I show up with consistency? Was I actually selling? Or was I just like creating some content kind of unintentionally just to get some content out there? Because you'll start to see the correlation between the intentionality that you're bringing to your content, the amount that you're selling, and the amount of money that you're making, and the types of clients that you're attracting into your offer. So I'm not saying to spend hours and hours and hours like painstakingly going through the Instagram analytics, but just to lightly notice, just to review, like, how did this week go? What went well? What did people respond to? What did I particularly enjoy? What did I spend way too much freaking time on that I do not want to be creating in that way anymore? And I never used to reflect in my business. I was always like full steam ahead, on to the next thing, create. And it got to a point where I was just like, I want to know what's working, you know? I want to have a little bit more data and feedback so that when I'm in those moments where maybe I'm not particularly inspired, or I want to repurpose some things and I want to take a bit of a step back and, you know, be in a period of renewal or rest, to know, you know, which pieces to repurpose, which things to lead with, what's working so I can do more of it. So bring an attitude of noticing, and remember, social media and business in general is all one giant experiment. There is no single one right way to do it. Everybody's way is different. This is, you know, social media is a creative endeavor. It's about self-expression. It's about building your personal brand, building real relationships. And the only way that's going to work for you long term is to find a way that's fun for you to do it, that's sustainable, that's based on your existing strengths and skill sets, and really leaning into those and not trying to twist yourself into a pretzel to do something that you think is necessary in order to get to the results. And as a reminder, I got to 6 figures in my business with just a few hundred people in my audience. So it's really about quality of communication and connection, being really intentional and making sure that you are selling and that what you're putting out there is converting into money for you, because otherwise you don't have a business and you could be using that time in other places other than creating a ton of content on social media unless you're doing it right. So I would love to hear like what's been working for you, what are some insights that have come up from integrating this process, and you know, just bringing that curiosity to the work that you're doing and constantly reminding yourself to pivot back to the fun. So please share this with anyone who you know will love it and who will resonate with and benefit from this, and let me know what landed for you. Like, please reach out, my inbox is open, let's have a conversation, let me know what's coming up for you, let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you soon. Have an amazing day. Bye. For more inspirational content, head over to my website withsarahmac.com, and please support the show by liking, commenting, and subscribing.